Hi, my name is Kathy, and I met William approximately 3 years ago. My father was in conservatorship. We had a lot of issues with family, and he was actually in a board and care, and he should have been in a board and care that actually took care of him, and it wasn't a good experience at all. And my father was referred to Forever Young, and that's where we met William. And all the pain and suffering that we had gone through up to that point, William stepped in and he made my dad feel so comfortable, so loved. And for Bruce and I, since we visited nearly every day, no matter where my dad was, William and his crew were like a godsend for us, because it was like putting my dad in his own home with family and love surrounding him. And it brought so much peace to our family, which we had so much devastation prior to that. William cared for our dad. He cared about everything about my dad. He got in the middle of our family dynamics on my dad's behalf. He helped to make my dad feel loved and cared for, and the rough edges were taken care of by William, which helped us. He also took care of the conservator, the communications between the conservator and ourselves, which was very volatile. And Bruce and I experienced this almost daily with the conservator.
Yeah, William really helped to make sense of this system. As Kathy said, that there are so many different dynamics, and there's no, you really have no experience in this. And William helped just really guide us. Her father was inappropriately placed in these different board and cares, and William, when we were introduced to William, he again stepped in, made sense of the whole thing. Once Dad was moved into Forever Young, it was like coming home. It was just a remarkable environment, and her dad went from being being agitated and uncomfortable to relaxing. He, as best as he could, became more of the way he used to be. Her father was a 22-year, two-tour Vietnam Marine, and he made a certificate and gave it to her father when he moved in, thanking him for his service. So he had this plaque on his dresser, and the staff there, they're like family members. It was such a remarkable transition between what we had experienced up to that point, and then once we got to Forever Young, it was truly amazing, the transition. And her father, even though he was declining in health, he was flourishing in terms of him being comfortable and relaxed, and the care that they gave him was just, it was touching. And that's what they do. I mean, it wasn't pretense, it wasn't put on. That's who they are. It was just remarkable.
And on top of that, as Bruce said, he also cares about the family of his elders, because we were really devastated at that point, because we didn't know what to do with Dad because he was so unhappy. But when we would go there and see him laughing around the table, and the people that worked there hugging him and just telling him, just like you would family at a kitchen table. And it made Dad so comfortable. He felt so much at home. And even they sent us pictures showing Dad when he would do things. And it was so comfortable. It allowed us peace and knowing that Dad was happy. And anytime we needed to get a hold of anyone there, we called the house, and they were always available for us. William was always there, William was always there to help in any way, and we had not experienced that in the, I think, 4 homes that my dad had been in before going to Forever Young. So we are ever so grateful for that situation.
During the course of time that Dad was, had been placed in these different homes, he never seemed to be comfortable. There were always issues. The staff at all these homes didn't really understand, Richard. He was a 22-year, 2-tour Marine in Vietnam. He was also, worked for the Orange County Sheriff's Department. And, here's a guy that, really was misunderstood. And so in order, instead of trying to know the person, they tried to manage his care through other means. And in some cases, they were medicating him, and he became, less communicative because of the medication he was taking. And, when we got to a point that, he was acting out, becoming violent, thank God for William. He came in and, he assessed, the situation, but more importantly, he really assessed Richard, and he understood Richard, and, in his knowledge of the disease, dementia and Alzheimer's really helped us and helped Richard. I mean, William knew from his experience what to do, and when Dad moved into Forever Young, William's staff, he was able to help and train his staff to know how to, work with Dad because of the person he was. And that in itself, it made, Dad so much more comfortable, and, he was relaxed, and he was in an environment that, he flourished in. It was remarkable.
The home that my father was in prior to going to Forever Young, my dad was so violent and so agitated. He swung at the other elders. He fell out of a chair. He was very verbally abusive to the staff there. They put him in a room, and they didn't really care. We got there, and they would just tell us about the horrible things, which the conservator did nothing to move him until he finally got kicked out, and we found Forever Young, William's facility, and from that point on, it was the best thing we ever did. He actually cared that my dad spent 22 years in the Marine Corps, and he was retired from the Sheriff's Department. He figured out how my dad operated and why my dad might act out, because my dad was frustrated that nobody would hear him, listen to him. He just couldn't get his points across, even through the frustration of having dementia. But William and his staff were able to get through to my dad. My dad was happy. It was like he had his daughters all around him. And he was able to be in a normal family environment, and that was so peaceful. And I don't know what we would have done without the expertise of William and his staff caring about my dad, where my dad came from, who his family is, and that we had some family dynamics that needed a lot of work. And William took that on for us, and it helped to make it a more peaceful place to be for us as we visited, but more importantly for my dad as he started to pass. And I'm very thankful for that. It was an amazing experience for a terrible situation that we were in with our father and him being under conservatorship.